I cannot with today's episode of The Bachelorette. It's bananas. It's absolutely crazy. So we are going to talk about the exact reason. Like, this is so much what I'm about, of what you should not be doing when you are really being intentional. Okay? So Charity, our Bachelorette, who is just wonderful. Okay. And she says things on the show that she is very aware of, like, oh my gosh, this feels like an old pattern. This feels like my past relationship with Brayden. Okay, you guys, please, you have to realize that this is something where she should be running the other way. It's bye-bye time. But she doesn't. She's like, oh, I'm just, I have too much of a strong connection with him. Okay, so this is where I need you to really understand where Charity's going wrong. She has been kissing Brayden since day one. And I said it from my last podcast episode about the Bachelorette. I'm like, do not be kissing guys that you're just trying to get to know and really see if you're aligned. If you're aligned when it comes to what are you really looking for? What are you ready for? And so on today's episode, Brayden straight up says, oh yeah, he tells the guys, okay, I can't imagine, I'm not going to propose to someone who's been dating 20 of my friends. I'm like, what are we doing? And Aaron B watches out for her and protects her. And I really thought that was awesome. And he tells Charity, because he wants Charity to be aware of Brayden's intentions. Brayden's kind of like, oh, I'm just being honest. He is such a good talker. And because she's kind of under his spell, because you guys, kissing is being physical. Kissing is important. Kissing will get you attached to someone. And so, she has been making out with Brayden left and right. And so when he's saying, yeah, but this, I like you, like, hey, and we're going to just take it day by day. She's like, I guess, and she's like, I guess it is good enough for me. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, you are very intentional. You said you want to find your person. You want to find someone that is also ready to find their person and get married and share life together. That is something that doesn't just happen. Oh, like you're just going with the flow and you meet people. No, like it is a decision where you're like, you know what? I'm kind of done messing around. I've healed from my past relationships. I'm ready to move forward. And this is not the case with Brayden. Brayden straight up tells her, hey, on his one-on-one, because yes, Charity picked him for the one-on-one. Oh my gosh, I can't even with his reaction. He just seems so childish and immature. He lacks humility. He's obnoxious. Oh my gosh, there's so many things. I'm like 100,000,000%. If Charity has not made out with him, she wouldn't be keeping him around. She would be actually listening, because guys tell you who they are. You just need to listen. And I feel like the writing's all over the wall. And Charity even says it. Oh my gosh, this feels like my past relationship. That should tell you something, because your past relationship has failed, right? And, we can really get stuck in a pattern of repeating things over and over. So sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, this feels familiar. It feels like, this home kind of feeling. But that home can be some toxic shit. Charity. So this is like where I feel like, oh my gosh, I feel for her. I kind of wish she had a coach on the show. I wish I could be there. I'm like, Charity, let me help you, because sometimes you're seeing things through your lens and you don't see things from a different perspective. Okay, so obviously me seeing it, I'm like, oh my gosh, Charity, I feel for her, but also because I've been there repeating patterns over and over again. And it's very hard to break. It really is. But I really think that if that was just a rule that she put in her head, like, I want to see the Bachelorette no kissing on the show until like you actually really know each other. Because, oh my God, like how much time has been whatever. Like how much time has been spent on makeout sessions, right? But like they're not really asking those hard questions and really finding out. That being said, she chose for the other one-on-one with a guy who said he was, so cute, Warwick. And he hasn't said a peep on the show. Like, he's super quiet. She takes him on this one-on-one. And it's like no energy. It's like, who is this guy? He just seems like he hasn't he doesn't even know who he is even. And then, so it's like lacking all the energy, even though they went to an amusement park, right? But then, he says, I'm reluctant to get into another I'm reluctant to get into a relationship. And so Charity is like, are you kidding me right now? And he also isn't a good communicator. He says that's his weakness. And that's something that's important to Charity. So I'm like so proud. I'm like, oh my God, yes, Charity. She said bye-bye to him. Perfect. But then she goes and keeps Brayden around. But it's because she's been making out with him. Like, but seriously, it's kind of the same thing. Brayden's like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. Like, let's take it day by day. We have a connection. I like you. It's such a different energy than a guy that says, I have done all this. I know who I am. I know what I want. And you're it. I can feel it. I'm so excited. We're so aligned. I cannot wait. I just feel like this guy Brayden is trying to tell Charity, oh, a guy that's saying that is just bullshit. And that's not right. That's not correct. And then not only that, oh my God, I know I saw this episode. I was like on fire. I'm like, I have to tell you guys. Brayden says, oh, Aaron B is so insecure for telling her about him, Brayden talking shit at the house, saying that he couldn't propose to her after this. He says, I can date her, but not propose. Okay. And what is the intention of the show? This is about getting married. So what are we doing, Brayden? Like, what are you doing? So anyway, Aaron B watches out and says he wants to be protective of her. I love that. I think it's awesome. Yes, some guys lost time, but you know what? James keeps saying, I'm not going to have time. He should take action and try to make it happen. You know what I mean? Like, where there's a will, there's a way. Get up from complaining and actually go find her and make it happen. So like James is really playing the victim on that. And I don't agree with that. And I love how Aaron B was protective and he was telling her. And I was so excited that he told her because like, oh my gosh, Charity, how many more red flags do you need to see? Like how many more warnings? Like the universe and God are always trying to help you on your path. Like when I meet women and I'm on your path and men, anyone, I meet you guys. I'm like, we met for a reason. Let me help you. And, you're listening to this for a reason. And if this is resonating with you, it's like, oh shit, I kind of am totally dating somebody that is not being intentional and it's just going with the flow, or I'm stuck in a freaking situationship. Like, listen to this. Like, don't just like, oh, that sounds familiar. That sounds like me, but let me still make out with this person. let me cross my fingers and hope it works out. Like, I am really hoping that by the next episode, Charity realizes that Brayden is not it. Like, I don't know what else has to happen for her to get it. But she said, she even said herself, she's like, I don't know if, I keep trying to reassure him because, he has threatened before that he was going to leave. And so she's been trying to reassure him, but she's like, everything I do might not be enough. And that feeling of when you're with someone where you're always trying to make them love you, make them stay, help them, you see this potential, right? But they're not quite there yet. And you're just going and you're trying. That alone can be like a very toxic trait. That alone can, be part of something that draws you to them. Oh my God. But like, it's, it kind of makes you want to stay with them. Like, it's like a challenge, so I really see what she's doing. I've done it in the past before. It isn't healthy. And that's not a kind of relationship you want. You want to be in a relationship where you're both, aligned. You're both secure. You don't have to wonder if they're going to leave or if, you know what I mean? That is just such a not, peaceful feeling. It's just very toxic. So if any of this is resonating with you, if you've been there, oh my God, let me know. Make sure that you are subscribing to this podcast if this is resonating with you. I always love to connect with you on my IG. That was the biggest thing that I had to tell you about. And like by the end of the episode, she kept Brayden and I'm just like losing my mind. I was like, what are you talking? So I really hope you guys watch it. If you haven't watched The Bachelorette, you can see it for yourself and say, oh my God, I can learn. Like you can learn what she is doing and make sure you're not doing it. Like, I hope you're listening to what I'm saying and like, oh my gosh, and take that to heart because this is gold. This is gold. What Charity is doing is something that I did for years, and I know that so many of you are doing as well. And notice how Brayden is. Like, I hope that you start to clean that lens that you're seeing the world in. And you're like, oh shit, Brayden, look at this guy. And for sure you've dated your own batch of Braydens. So I know I have. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. I'm going to see you next time. And oh my gosh, I'm going on this trip, so I won't be able to probably record about the next Bachelorette. I cannot believe this. But you'll be hearing other episodes every Monday and Thursday. Make sure to leave a comment, leave a review. It really means so much to me when you do. And remember, don't settle for anything less than crazy love, because it has to be crazy love or nothing. Bye. Until next time.